And returning to the Talk Shop in Studio 255, this time with my co-host, Elle Cameron. Elle, good morning.
Good morning, Eric.
Wonderful to have you. And
yeah, it's good to be here.
I was absolutely ecstatic. Last week I saw a post, your post, of speaking engagements,
Yeah.
your schedule for
Yeah.
2026. And I understand off air it's growing from there.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, I don't want to say too much, but I think hopefully there's a couple more days.
Well, you're locked and loaded for,
In
it
the
looked like
works.
3 or 4.
Iowa, Illinois, and I'm not going to New York. I'm going to do that one online. That one was just,
Okay.
But
Very nice.
that one I wrote a paper for that should get published as well. So the Learning Ideas Conference in New York, and then Leading Age. Leading Age is a group in almost every state that works with folks, that are growing older, and how are we going to help them do that? So those are opportunities that, I'm familiar with Leading Age, and then, of course, transforming what's overwhelming. So talking about, when it's that time to transition from, and we see it all the time, people transitioning from larger homes to smaller homes, or from smaller homes into senior care, and how can we do that with love and kindness
And just a shameless opportunity to introduce TWO,
Yeah.
Transforming What's Overwhelming.
Yeah.
Estate sales, decluttering, downsizing, and relocation
Yeah.
support. From
Yeah.
hers truly,
Yeah,
Elle Cameron.
that's me.
307-286-9906.
Thank you.
And if you're looking, you prefer email, it's l2@yahoo.com. That's EL with TWO@yahoo.com.
Yeah.
And Elle, I introduced a piece, 29 seconds from your personal page, Cameron for Wyoming, on Facebook, and that's a real, it's powerful.
Thank you.
You made an observation it's impossible to refute.
Okay.
It's not a case where somebody couldn't make an argument.
Okay.
But if you give the facts of any given situation a try to what you said in that 30 powerful seconds,
Okay.
it's applicable. You can find those scenarios every day, and it's almost some would say life.
Well, do you have one of those scenarios? Do you have a similar situation? Like it?
Well, I took what you said, and I thought, just in what my dialogue was with my physicians last week.
Yeah.
I found it relative. It reminded me of my conversations with my own doctors.
Okay.
They're there to serve me. They're there to serve
Right.
what I need. The first question out of their mouth is, "How are you doing today?"
Right.
And I've just started to recognize more that whether it's health, physicians, or elected officials, we really are challenged, albeit in health, government, even into maybe your family life. You have given something that transcends any topic I've thought of so far, and I haven't come up with the exception. So
Okay.
I mean, from a real standpoint, I really appreciate some simplification in a world that's so overwhelming in so many ways. There's so many factors that are out of your hands. You can't control everything. Who wants to?
Right.
And that's, I think that was one of the greatest powers that were re-engaged by COVID-19. The 2020 was a return to recreation for me. It was a remembrance of my favorite places on the river, and why, and my camping spots, and my hiking trails and new trails, thoughts that I had about where I wanted to go, and be it a rattlesnake or another deer or elk or whatever, but magnificent things in life that they're much simpler.
We were spinning really fast in 2019. I feel like in the world, like everything was moving really fast. And then in 2020, just to have March actually of 2020, just to have everything shut down like that, It did. It stopped us, and it stopped us from this like constant go, 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 and to take a look and remember what was really important. And I would hope that in 6 years we haven't lost that, right? Hopefully it didn't just take 6 years for us to lose that feeling of,
But we
wait,
know
what's
we already
really
are.
important?
Don't we know we already are? Alan Jackson in 2001, following 9/11,
Yeah,
wrote a song about or performed a song. I don't know if he actually wrote it. Apologize there, but where were you when the world stopped turning?
right,
And
right. Yeah, I remember
that
that. Right.
that September day,
Yeah.
and that all reminded can take you back to a time where America was more united,
Right.
and
Yeah.
the world did slow down, and it did come down to where are you in life? Where are your children?
Right.
Where are your family? And where's your
And what are your
where's
values?
your
What do you
local
believe
where's your
in?
local priorities?
Right.
Right?
What do
That
you really
value.
care about? What really does matter? And does all this other stuff matter? No, it doesn't. What matters is that relationship with each other, that relationship with nature, that relationship with, a higher spirit, if you believe that.
What do you see? What do you see as in the speaking tour and the engagements
Yeah.
you have in 2026?
Yeah.
Give us the topics. Give us the 410 on where you plan
Well,
to take audiences.
One of the things I think I'm really good at is what's overwhelming, right? Like I have lived in situations, I don't talk about this a lot, but I was in a domestic abuse relationship for numerous years, and there was a lot of chaos. There was a lot of crisis. There was a lot of urgency. There was a lot of what's overwhelming, right? And learning how to transform that, learning how to find peace within yourself, and then be able to find peace with with what's surrounding you. That's absolutely essential. Being able to take those few minutes to just ground yourself, feet flat on the floor, hands flat on a desk or flat on your lap, being aware of your breathing. That's absolutely essential to dealing with what's overwhelming. And that's what I'm going to be talking about in a lot.
When
in
you
two of my presentations.
when you made it through your personal instance,
yeah.
what was the key to your survival? Was it inside of you, or was it found in others?
It was my children.
Was it?
Yeah, it was my children. By the way, my daughter Luna Iris got married yesterday.
Congratulations, Luna.
Congratulations, Luna. I did not go. I was not invited, and that's all good because when we are transforming what's overwhelming, when two people get married, it is overwhelming. And, sometimes they just want to get married and celebrate it themselves and not have all that outside stuff that can bring in drama, whether we want it to or not. So, but congratulations to Luna and Brock. I'm happy for them. I think they're gonna be
Absolutely
great
wonderful,
together.
and we're happy you're happy.
Yeah, I am. Did you hear about this?
What'd you bring?
Quickly. And I don't mean to change the
Just
topic.
do it.
But,
I love it. Go.
so there was a pileup on I-80. Did you hear about this? A 15 to 20 vehicle chain reaction crash shut down I-80 for 17 hours with one person killed, 6 hospitalized, and 13 sheltered at the Albany County Fairgrounds.
I didn't
Yeah.
know about that, and that was just yesterday.
Yeah.
Or was it earlier this morning?
It was yesterday. Because you would have known, right? Didn't you drive over?
I drove over much earlier in the day, but
Okay, yeah.
nevertheless, we wish everybody the best in
Yeah.
coping and dealing with that. Does it say what resources are available in Albany County to help with that beyond the Albany County Fairgrounds? Which thank goodness for the availability
right?
of that facility in emergency cases and
Yeah.
situations, that it's immediately available. I want you to think about that as you think about county services, city services,
Yes.
the 24/7 availability of personnel and staff that make things happen.
Is that the county commissioners?
The county commissioner's in charge of the county side.
Yeah.
But absolutely, what happens? There's a ripple effect in everything, and this is just one
Yeah.
of those tremendous occasions. We had fire in the summer, or homeless situations based on tragedies like this
Like
wreck,
this.
this accident.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Go out to
Yeah.
our county government and
Yep.
the city government, state officials that make this
Yeah.
infrastructure
Yeah.
available and happen.
So, you talk about resources. I'm sure the Albany County Fairgrounds has all those resources for those folks. and 13 were sheltered there. That's wonderful. You know, again, something that's overwhelming and people ready to step in and just flip that around. All right, statewide. Another hard one. The red flag warnings and high wind fire danger across central Wyoming. Much of the state, including Casper and Lander, is under the red flag warnings with temps in the 60s to 80s, gusts up to 37 miles per hour, and elevated wildfire risk.
We're so dry.
In March,
Right.
you know, it is. We are horribly dry.
We're used to, you know, it used to be, still could be tomorrow. We gain 18 inches of snow in June, and you know, and
Okay.
you know, we have snow year-round potential in
Right
here in Laramie,
Okay.
Wyoming.
Okay,
But
that's a positive thought, right?
but
It could snow.
it could change. Wait 5 minutes, it could change.
Right, and it will.
However,
It
right
will.
now we're
It
in a
will.
state of affairs where you really got to give thought. And I had conversation with Wholesale Fireworks, and they're mindful
Yeah.
of it. They
Okay.
are just 14 miles south of Laramie
Yeah.
on Highway 287, and they're extremely mindful of it. They're very appreciative of a tremendous 2025 celebrating with
Yeah.
America. They're very excited and anxious for the 250th year of
Yes,
America and the
right.
celebration that is underway
Yeah.
across our country. But they're very mindful of the circumstances that are right here in Albany County right here today.
Right.
And across Wyoming, we're all in the same boat. It's extremely
Yeah.
dry.
Yeah.
So be mindful of those kind of details when you know, cigarette smoke,
Campfire.
make your own decisions, but campfires and cigarettes going out the window,
Yeah.
please think twice.
Right. And again, thanking the local fire departments, the paid and the volunteer, those people, men and women who are willing to go out there, you know, sometimes without a break, just to fight those fires, to keep people's property safe and, you know, people's lives not in danger. So the fire department in all across Wyoming, which makes up, some of them are paid and some of them are volunteer. So anything we can do to support I'm having
And the
trouble with my
thought
senses right now.
that I come to as you said that is, who's in the greatest danger? Is it the city or is it the rural?
Right.
Folks, rural areas are remote and things can go unseen for far too long. That
Right.
cigarette rolls across into the median
Yeah.
or into the ditch, the borrow pit,
Yeah.
and it festers and
Yeah.
and it gets worse, and the wind, Mother Nature does Mother Nature's thing, and
Yeah.
35 mile an hour winds plenty,
Yeah.
let alone 100 mile an hour gusts that we had in
Right.
Cheyenne and Laramie over the last
And I don't
week.
because we can look at both rural and urban, you know, the cities and what's rural out there. But even a fire that's devastating vegetation, that's devastating grasses, that's devastating our wildlife, that's preventing them from so it's going to do that kind of damage as well.
Habitat damage. yeah.
Habitat damage along with personal property. It's not good. And one of the things that I've felt for years is, and people know how to do this, people should know how to do this, contact your local fire chief, have them come out to your property, especially if you're rural or you're somewhere where this can happen. Have them take a look around and say, what kinds of things can you do to mitigate fire if it does come towards your house? You know, get the fire chief out there and have them.
There's a lot of
I'm
technology.
sorry, fire chiefs are going, wait, we're busy. But really, you know, homeowners can do things to mitigate fires from.
Prepare in advance.
Absolutely. Get out there
And
prepare.
there's science and technology of various types that can help.
Yeah.
And as new construction is being done, I've understood
Yeah.
there's science that's being integrated into building,
Absolutely.
and those structures are incorporating
Yeah.
those kind of technologies in
Yeah.
various places, and hopefully right here in Wyoming.
Yeah, because we need it. All right, the Wyoming anti-SLAPP bill fails again. Did you know about
Tell
this?
me more about that.
I don't know a lot. A bill intended to protect residents from lawsuits meant to silence public criticism. It failed to pass, leaving free speech advocates warning of continued vulnerability. So a bill intended to protect residents from lawsuits meant to silence public criticism. So we should not be silenced. Our public criticism should not be silenced. We should be able to say, I think, leaving free speech advocates warning of continued vulnerability. Anyway, it fell to pass. Regional, TSA staffing shortages ripple across Western airports. I don't know if there are TSA agents at the Laramie Airport. Do you know?
There are fewer, but they are employed. They are a place of employment for TSA as well, right here in Laramie, but not paid for weeks.
Shout out to
and
them.
And here influx fear and controversy.
Yeah.
There's ICE agents that may be integrated into
Right.
various settings
Right.
by the President Trump's administration.
Just getting
Now,
the shivers.
so now they're federal agents. I
They're-
guess federal
right.
agents are federal agents, and maybe that's the reciprocity theorem from Mathematics 101 in
Right.
high school coming back to haunt me.
Right.
But hey,
But not the
these
National Guard.
there's a ripple effect in this, and these are not necessarily normal in any way, shape, or form to bring in the National Guard
Right.
in Minnesota, or to bring it into Wyoming, or just imagine, go across the border from Weslaco, Texas to Progreso Nuevo, Mexico, and you see one of the immediate observations that hit me was
Cartel?
uniformed individuals with M16s
Okay.
or
Right.
rifles
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
actually
Yeah, wow.
I came to understand they're more there for me, or at least that's what was told. And I thought, that's so familiar. How
Right.
these entities are to promote the safety of Americans. And are they? Do you feel safer when they show up? I have,
No.
but I hope everyone finds peace, because
Yeah.
isn't that transforming, overwhelming?
Yeah.
Right there, you got to transition yourself right out of anxiety.
I don't
to
see
peace,
how
perhaps.
a gun like that makes me feel peaceful.
Well,
Like-
the only thing I could do, Elle, was I could think. I've seen a lot of movies.
Right.
I've seen a lot of fire and explosion,
Right,
and
okay.
I think okay, as I see this armored vehicle
Right.
with a
Yeah.
machine gun atop it, I'm
Right.
sitting there going, why am I here?
Right.
And then I take in $1 margarita, I take in $1 Sol,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
I'm in Mexico, and
Yeah.
it's a first experience, and it's just crossed the border.
Yeah.
Am I going to get back? I don't even have any idea, with this, but I'm going back to some of my own culture,
Right.
and I sit there and go, I don't know how good I have it
Right.
until I put myself in some of these other circumstances. And I think that's a
Wow.
good reminder for a lot of people. Put yourself in the shoes of some
Yeah.
of these other folks
Right.
that are experiencing some of these, and ask yourself, how would it be if it was your family? How would it be
Right.
if it was your loved one?
Right.
How would it be in your
How would it
town?
be to have a margarita and not have a gunman, a man, or a human being with a
I
gun
did that
there?
at Chanos Village, 513 Boswell
And it feels
Drive.
great,
And
right?
it was-
you didn't
it
feel
was-
like your life was threatened.
it
You
was
didn't feel
wonderful.
like,
Chips, salsa, and the whole
peaceful.
works.
Yeah, just put down the guns, folks.
Wyoming
Put
Fudge
the
Company
gun-
telling me just yesterday it's National Goof Off Day.
When?
I thought yesterday,
Oh, really?
National Goof Off Day.
Well,
Wyoming Fudge Company,
let's
thank you
carry
for
it.
that heads
Yeah,
up.
carry it over. All right, so people, remember your TSA agents right here. They
Please,
may
please
need
do.
some donations.
Please
they may
do.
need some food. They
What
may
do you
need
think of Elon Musk's proposed offer to pay TSA salaries?
No,
What do you
no.
think about that?
No. You can't have a private enterprise pay federal employees.
Now here's a
That's into the
billionaire willing to
government.
pay a higher tax, El.
Is he willing to pay a higher tax?
Or does
that
he
what he's
expect
willing to
reimbursement?
do? Right.
Or is he buying
Or is he
publicity?
manipulative? Is he using this?
Well,
for
if
his
I were a
advantage?
TSA
Like,
family
look
and
at his
somebody offered me a
image.
check,
Yeah.
I don't know that I would turn it down based on any questions I had other than feeding my family. I don't know that I would.
Right. When you get down to like seeing your family need food, yeah, you
I mean,
pretty much do.
If I were an astronaut, in orbit
Yeah.
around the Earth, and I had SpaceX come get me,
Yeah.
I would be grateful. I think I would. I think I
Right,
would be
okay.
grateful if I was up there
Right,
too long and felt
right,
like I might never come
right,
back and might never see my loved
right,
ones.
right.
I have to think in that instance, would my mindset change?
As a
I don't. I mean, it depends on your perspective.
well,
perhaps,
right. I
but
mean, if you're starving, if you're watching your family members starve, stealing is okay. And I'm not promoting
does-
stealing
so here-
at all, but you're
to-
trying to feed your family, so you're going to steal the bread so that your family has food.
to me, here's the commonality between the two instances. Why has administration and legislature, part of leadership, failed to pay our TSA people? And why, when the astronaut situation existed, why did administration not bring back our astronauts according to the schedule? Why were things not engaged and done? We're supposed to go into battle as Marines, as military men and women. We're supposed to not leave our brethren
Right,
behind.
right.
Well, here's astronauts in space. Here's a
Right,
reminder
right.
that I have that flashback to 13 dead in Afghanistan and TSA agents that are nationwide not being paid. And I go, why do we
Okay.
not have the expectation to do better, and why do we not demand better?
I think we are demanding better. I think it's not that we're not demanding better, it's that certain people in a position of authority to do something aren't listening.
This
right?
brings
They're not-
me-
They're not hearing what the people are saying.
Totally
And the
agree.
people are saying, pay TSA agents, like get it
That's
done.
right. What
Whatever
power-
that backroom drama is, whatever that backroom gossip and backstabbing is, put that aside and do what's right for the people. Get those TSA
how
workers
do
paid. And our flights safe, our transportation safe.
We're in an election year, and many citizens rightly feel as much power and influence as they ever do in a 4-year period.
Okay.
Every 2 years, there's elections.
Yeah.
Sometimes annually, there are
Yeah.
elections of different types.
Yeah.
Why is it that government elected officials believe that public comment doesn't have to be as important if it's not an election year? Why is it that the vote of the American citizen, the Laramie citizen, the Albany County citizen, the citizens of Wyoming do not get a vote on what the statutes and what the law says that they should get a vote on? Why
That's
is
the
that?
question, isn't it?
And why do
I
we
think
as
lawmakers-
the individual citizens have to take our government to court and fund against an entity, a mammoth entity that is funded by our own money, our own tax structure?
Right,
We have to fight against that. Case after case.
right. It's
That's
not
discouraging.
right. Yeah.
That's overwhelming me.
Right, and I don't
Transform
think that's what, right, that, I don't think that's what the forefathers intended. They didn't think that the public was gonna have to sue the government in order for the public to be heard.
The right to bear arms might be a questionable point about that. Did they? Now they didn't say you can have an M16 or
Right.
you can only have a single shot rifle. They
Right.
said the right to bear arms, because I believe, contrary to what you just said, I believe
Yeah.
that the founders of our nation did believe that it was fundamentally, principally necessary for that possibility to exist, to
Sure.
put a check on government.
Was it to put a check on government or to make sure people were safe? Right, at
I would
that
hope
point,
both.
Right.
I would hope both.
Having a gun meant you could shoot the wolf. Don't mean to bring that up, but you could shoot the wolf in
I feel
your
a
sheep.
segue
You
coming.
could, you could do what you needed to do at that time in our history to protect yourself. And they also came from a Europe that you couldn't you couldn't revolt against the government. It was impossible to revolt against
Well,
the government.
And aren't we dangerously close to that again?
To
Do you
revolting against
do you
our
feel do you
government?
feel comfortable raising your hand at a city council meeting and being heard? No. I've seen it in Bar None, Wyoming,
Right.
as recent as this weekend. I've viewed
Okay.
it in the last four weeks of observation of Monday night meetings in Cheyenne that
Right.
go 6 and 8 hours in length.
Wow.
And their government is looking to force annexation on Y-Fresh in Laramie, or in Laramie County rather,
Okay.
Cheyenne, Wyoming,
Y-Fresh.
and it's in Laramie County property,
Yeah.
8 acres, and this little farm stand, individual family-owned entrepreneurial venture. Is Wyoming Business Council coming to their rescue? Are they saying,
know.
let's fund you the way that we're funding a California company to bring wet lettuce to product and manufacturing
Oh,
to
wow.
Wyoming? No,
Oh, wow.
Wyoming Business Council allegedly is funding California in bringing wet lettuce, and here's a Y-Fresh family business, the Nicely family,
Okay.
and I was given a tour
Wow.
of
All
a
right.
$50,000 investment that they did for a greenhouse for a wet
Yeah.
lettuce production on
Right.
this 8 acres.
Okay.
And the city of Cheyenne, Mayor Collins, doesn't care. I don't care. Calls Nicely out of order because he's trying to stand up for his friends, his family, his loved ones, and his livelihood. And that is
Wow.
tragic. And it comes down to the
Wow.
fundamental piece. As I think about this, it comes down to the same fundamental principle. In between election cycles, apparently government doesn't feel the obligation to listen. And
Or
yet,
to
and
think-
yet, coming
or
out
to
of the
act on it, or
coming
to-
out of the 2026 Wyoming legislature.
Yeah.
Thank you for my tour, by the way. Best
Yeah.
best tour. El Cameron, transforming Eric in the Capitol. I love it. And so, but here we have an instance where the legislature comes out and they say, "Thank you for emails and thank you for your
Right.
calls, and
Right.
it was so important to what happened." And I feel gamed. I honestly feel gamed
You
in
probably
that
are gamed.
because to me it's the spin, and it's coming out, and next, what was it, March 26th, Thursday of this week, 6 p.m. at the Collective, I think it is, in historic downtown Laramie, the Albany County Legislature legislative
Yeah,
elected
right,
officials.
yes.
I don't know if all 6 will be there,
Right.
but Jeff Victor will, the Laramie Reporter, will moderate a second annual
Yeah.
legislative summary.
Nice,
now,
nice.
I'm in a
Budget
conundrum.
session
I'm in a conundrum, Elle,
Okay.
because here we have government scheduling over government. We have a very important opportunity with city council, city officials
Okay.
on West Side and city matters, citywide matters,
Yeah.
and they're both at the same time. I mean, it just comes down. You got 7 days in the week, folks. And
Right.
and do you not care about your constituents enough to check schedules, to cross these up? Some of these schedules have been known for months, if not 3-4 months
Right.
ahead. But
Weeks.
we elected officials, government staff are not diligent enough when it comes to looking out. Can you watch out for every scheduling conflict?
Right.
Absolutely
Yeah.
not. But
Right.
if you are doing scheduling over the top of like events, which are civic minded events,
Right.
that to me is a really bad scenario. It's bad, and it's even worse when you advise these groups of this, as I have,
Right.
and it falls on deaf ears. I called Representative Hegeman. I called her team maybe 14 days in advance of her town hall that was scheduled for Albany County. I said, 100 capacity, 150 capacity room, not going to be enough. Not going to be enough, folks.
Right.
And so I offered live broadcast on 93.5.
Okay.
I offered to
Nice.
I offered to
Great.
broadcast that.
Yeah. Okay.
I offered to share it to the masses.
Yeah.
Radio is voice to the masses. So
Right.
why not take that advantage and do that? That was declined.
Right.
I suggested putting it in the Griffin Theater.
Right.
I suggested this early.
Right.
No, we got to line people up in the hallways and stack people on top of each other, and then with that mood, move from the Phoenix Gallery in the Laramie Plains Civic Center to another on-site venue, the Griffin Theater, which held 1,250 probably plus.
Right.
And great move. Thank you for doing it. But a sound system was offered. Oh no, we don't need a sound system. Guess what? They needed a frickin' sound system.
Right.
You know, and I am sitting here. Do I believe Laura on property? Yes, I believe that individual when they tell me
Yeah.
they offered it. Yeah, I absolutely do. Why?
Right.
Because I have my own call
Right.
2 and 3 times to the Hegeman organization to try
Right.
and
Good for you. Good for you.
prevent some of these type of things. I offered in studio opportunity, and when public officials do not accept input or
Right.
help, I call a question to
Well,
this.
I mean, is there a trust factor? There must be some level of distrust on their part as well. But when we're talking about elected officials, they
He's
hear,
got shifty eyes, that Eric.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, you don't know. Sorry, folks, I didn't mean to have that finger up. But you know, when we talk about elected officials, they often talk about their constituents, right? So they can hear from everybody from the state, but in their head, they're thinking, I need to think about my constituents, who's voting for me, and what are
Yeah,
they
who voted
saying?
for me? Right?
Yeah, and who's going to vote for me again, and what are they saying, and what's their opinion on this? So that's the first thing is they, you know, well, are you in my district? Are you in my, you know?
So you're saying they look at it with a lens.
Absolutely. And then the other lens that they look at, and now I just missed my train of thought, but I think it'll come back to me. Constituents, and then as an elected official, you also have your own values and ethics. And so if you're highly committed to something, it's not going to matter what anybody else says because you're going to hold true to your ethics, right? So if you hold a stand on an issue, you can hear from 1,000 people, and maybe they'll persuade you to change your mind, or maybe your ethic is, I'm an elected official and it's not about what I believe, it's what my constituents believe. It's what the mass believes because I'm here to represent them. I'm not here to represent my own personal ethics. But that's what it comes down to, right? An elected official's personal ethics, personal values, and then what are their constituents saying? That's
I heard
narrowness.
I heard a constituent in city council chambers over this past few weeks suggest that email received by city council is important for public consideration and should be available proactively without having to be requested by FOIA request for availability for public inspection. Now, I think it is. I don't know the timeline of having that happen and make it into the record, but if you search October 2021, you can find entry of Eric Henderson and what my concern was in City of Laramie infill matter in West Side neighborhood. Now, her suggestion was wonderful. I thought it was powerful.
What was her suggestion?
Her suggestion was, I'd like to see the emails you receive because you speak and you reference them often as justification for not listening to various contingents within the city. I'd like to see the evidence.
As you as the author of the email, you're free to put it out there on any social media.
Yeah, but if this woman indicated, she didn't author it. She was speaking in reference to council in the last year. I've observed many, if not most, of the meetings, and they often reference, well, I appreciate that you came before us here, but you're not all of the people that I've listened to.
Kind of making...
Like, I took this side
because I
versus
heard that side.
because I heard,
And-
you know,
and they wanna
and
know what
and
that
in
email is.
consideration and in deliberation,
Right.
and you know, and another posture is that it takes courage to be an elected official.
Okay.
Necessary decisions take courage
Yeah.
on occasion, and
Yeah.
it's undisputable, right?
Right.
Look at our president. They have a 30-day period to enact war. I mean, they look at President Trump
Right.
has gone the path of war with Iran. Now,
Right.
there are people with long memories, and they don't forget the hostage situation. They
Right.
say Reagan and Carter should have done that, you know, and so there's people that believe that the war hawk is the way to go, and then there's the dove, the you know, the peace.
Right.
There has to be a way through peace, and I don't have a necessary position except to say, with this Strait of Hormuz
Yes.
adjacent to Iran
Yeah.
and in the Saudi Arabian area,
Right.
how can one entity of the world hold another entity of the world such hostage? I guess we're going to find out, because will Iran power facilities be struck by the United States or Israel in terms of the action escalating in Iran? Well, we'll see.
Water sources.
Because the posture of the President Trump has indicated, allow safe passage through Hormuz or else. Else being, we strike this. And he's very, very upfront, and I can only say this: what that individual has said in cases of aggression have happened. And
Right. I mean, what's the end game? What's the end of this? What's the outcome? What are we hoping to achieve? How is this going to make us a better world? How is this going to make
how is it America
relationships-
first, right? That's the question
Okay,
so
how
many
is it
ask.
America first? How is
I agree with
how
you.
are we stabilizing the Middle East? We're not. We're destabilizing it. What's the end game? How do we get out of this? Do we even know? I don't think we know. And what's the purpose? Is it just oil? Well, you know what? I think we have some oil reserves right here. I think we're going to be okay. The rest of the world, no, they depend on that oil. What's the end game, and what's the point? What's the purpose? Just a power play? Like
Yeah,
a power play?
I watched an oil supply mapping scenario.
Okay.
And one of them was Russian oil goes over here, and American oil goes here, and
Right.
and some of these things happen, but it happens much slower. And in cases of just this morning, I watched a 60 Minutes clip, and the 60 Minutes clip talks about America is the largest producer of natural gas.
Yeah.
But we don't have the ability to transport to an adjacent state or
Right.
in terms of America, because there's a Jones Act that requires that it has to be shipped via American resource, not
Sure.
foreign
Sure.
resource. So ships, you know, Korea's building like 9 ships a day kind of deal.
Wow.
You know, and
Right.
in America, 0.
Okay, but we're
I mean-
spending billions on,
Wow.
ICE and on a war that we have no business being in.
And
Like,
and
we should-
Americans are taxed to the gills,
Right.
and we're
our
dedicating
grocery
millions and
prices are going
billions
up.
here and there and everywhere around the world.
Right, I have to go donate to subsidize my TSA workers. Like, I'm gonna go donate to subsidize my TSA workers. And I already been paying my taxes.
How are you going to donate? Tell me more.
I don't know yet, but I think I need to find out. Let me double check. Because
So
I wouldn't
Amy
wanna
Terrell-
walk in there with just
Amy
a
Terrell-
box of food.
Amy Terrell would be
Unless
who
they
I
do.
would ask.
Okay.
I would be my direct contact to ask
Yeah.
in terms of she runs the Laramie Regional Airport
Okay.
facilities.
What's her name again?
Amy Terrell.
Okay.
And so
Like, do they need food? Do
Director
they need-
Terrell would be in a much better place to be asked that question. And I've invited everybody.
Okay.
I'm an open door when it comes to exposing the microphone
Swinging back and forth.
to folks, you know, and
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
having
you
the
know what?
opportunity, bring your voice. Let no voice
right.
be unheard.
Yeah, let's find out what's going on in our
What other
local,
topics? Last minute
regional.
summary. What do you got?
We already talked on this, the war. Like, that's huge. Gas prices, food prices. It's just
What do you
ridiculous
recommend?
right now.
What do you recommend for people in order to cope with the anxiety of the war?
Turn off the news.
Turn off the news.
Turn off the news. Open the window. Especially right now while it's nice. Listen.
Return to nature.
Yeah, go outside. Just stand outside. If there's a tree, just go touch a tree. Just hug your kids. Hug your
How do we
family.
find out more information and details on if we wanted to attend an El Cameron speaking engagement in 2026? Where do we find those details?
Well, right now I'm going to be in Illinois and Iowa, so that's it. If you want to travel, you can.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to learn more about.
Well, check
my
out the talk
speaking.
shop because I posted Elle's June and July as we knew it last week
Yeah.
schedule,
Yeah.
and so more details available
doing it.
from Elle directly at.
I have a series of topics, so if somebody is having a conference and needs a speaker, somebody wants to learn more about what's overwhelming, if somebody wants me to speak on politics, current events, I can do that too.
We go to our next segment in the 8 o'clock hour with Brett Glass and the city of Laramie City Council agenda preview. That will be up next. But if you want to reach El Cameron, TWO, that's 2, transforming what's overwhelming. Estate sales, decluttering, downsizing, relocation support, all by El Cameron. 307-286-9906. That's L with 2 at yahoo.com.
Eric, thank you for opening up the microphone for us. Thank you for opening up your radio station to us.
You're welcome, and it's
This is
our
an
station.
honor. This is an honor, and it's awesome to be able to do this. Thank you.
Come again next week.
Okay.